welcome to the video. My name is Alexa, Disventure Cap, and today we're going to be doing a What If Allie Hated Hunter. So let's get right into this. First off, this is the 1,600 subscriber special. Thank you all so much for all the support, and I am totally not late to this special. I would never. Anyways, credits for this idea to Mr. AnnoyMask558. I really do appreciate this idea, and honestly, it changes a lot more than I thought. But before we begin, do note that this background footage is owned by Odd Nation Cartoons, and now I'm going to be explaining why does Allie hate Hunter in this what if, so it makes sense when it begins. So I decided to use a couple of your ideas and just mix it with some of mine, and here is what I came up with, and y'all too. So Hunter and Allie played a couple of games together, and in the one where Allie played with those hacking kids, because remember in episode 4, some hackers were playing and she made kids cry by that. But moving on, Allie believed Hunter was one of them, as she remembered the username to report them, because I mean, if she's willing to make kids cry over it, then I mean, she'd likely report them for it. Anyway, Hunter also accidentally breaks Allie's consoles once they're actually in game, making Allie somewhat mad too. Now, I also got ideas of where Allie was jealous. I almost considered that, but I felt like that's too love triangle-y, you know what I mean? And I also feel like I don't like love triangles personally, so I wanted to go in a different direction. I felt like this would be more interesting than if she's just jealous, because if she's just jealous, then it's giving Jake, Tom, and Aiden from All-Stars, and I just no. Just me personally, I do appreciate the idea. Now, I do also know that a few of these things is slightly altering canon, but I felt like I had to do that, because remember, Allie and Hunter are dating now, so I kind of had to switch it up a bit to where Allie would go down the path of hating him instead of liking him, so a bit had to change as well. I'm going to be taking some of Allie's personality from All-Stars and putting it into this what if for certain aspects. I know that's like, wait, what? If she can have that personality in All-Stars, I'm just going to carry it over into this what if, because otherwise she's just a blank slate. So let's just get right into this what if. So in episode 1, everything remains the same as canon, as it's not going to be until episode 2 before Allie starts to hate Hunter, as to make more sense to the canon. Anyways, Oliver is eliminated and we move on to episode 2. In episode 2, everything remains the same. Allie talks to Hunter like that and everything. And then they start to play games together. We're going to quickly go off track so you can understand my next point. Whenever I play games with my friends, video games, stuff like that, I have to friend them. Like, I have to friend their username, and then we can play the same games. I believe this would be the same for the game consoles Allie has and shares with Hunter. This would mean Allie notices Hunter's username. And then she would notice that it was the same username of one of the hackers she reported and played with originally, as stated earlier. And she would think she remembered wrong, I feel like, because she was like, Hunter seems like such a nice dude, there's no way he would do that, until he accidentally broke her console. And then, which she thought was on purpose due to the original doubt she had. Maybe he realized that she reported her, or something like that, or thought that would happen, and therefore he decided to get some revenge because he recognized her username. A bit convoluted, but again, I explained this a bit more in the why does Allie hate Hunter in the beginning of the intro. Anyways, they begin to fight. I do think Allie would still manage to win this for the team, because even though I do think Hunter would fall asleep faster without having the distraction of Allie to keep him awake, Allie managed to go for so long without Hunter that I think she could still do it anyways. I genuinely just think she would. So I do think Allie wins it for the team, and they're immune. And anyways, everything on Orange still happens, and bye-bye, Carol. So now we move on to episode 3. Episode 3. In the morning, instead of getting to know one another with those getting to know one another cards with Allie, Allie is just gaming and mad at the broken console due to Hunter. And since he hacked and he, again, from the previous night, she's just mad about that. Now, obviously, Connor broke a console. She wasn't salty about that, but I feel like her thinking Hunter is one of the hackers would make her a bit more salty. But anyways, the challenge still goes the same as original. So now it's time for some changes. Yul, Hunter, and Tess vote without Allie. Since remember, the only reason Allie joined the majority alliance is because she was with Tess and Hunter at the time, with them playing games on the bunk beds. But she wouldn't be doing that in this scenario. I do think they still vote Kai, even though if Hunter really wants to vote Allie, I feel like you will be like, let's just vote Kai and then we can vote Allie or something like that. Plus, I do think that she would vote for Yul. Without the guidance of Hunter and Allie, which I do think is the only reason she did not vote Yule, because it's Yule. I don't think I need to reason more with that. So I do think she'd also vote oppositely because she doesn't want to work with Hunter at the slightest. Therefore, the majority votes, instead of being on Kai, would be on Yule. And also, do note that Connor helping out Hunter never happens here, since, well, it wouldn't be able to because two girls wouldn't be crushing on him. If anything, it's just Tess. So Allie is out of the scenario, and therefore I don't think he would really help. This is important for next. So we know Yule is eliminated right now. We know that. But what about the double? Because remember, this is a double here. So I don't think Connor would sacrifice, since in this universe, he now has a majority alliance, there's a majority, and there's no need to sacrifice himself for Rhea, so I don't think he would do that. In fact, I think Allie will take control and try to get Hunter out. First off, I don't think Rhea or Connor would really care about Hunter. They just barely interacted. They wouldn't interact, in fact. And then you have Kai over here. I don't think would also care about voting Hunter since, again, they never interacted at all. So it's like, now you might be thinking, why would Allie just try to target Hunter here? I think we can bring in her strategic mind from All-Stars coming in here. She views Hunter and Tess as a duo. She not only hates Hunter, but a duo, that is dangerous. Even if they're in the less majority, she still views that as an issue. Now, you can obviously argue Rhea and Connor are a duo. To her, I think she views that as less of an issue due to the fact that not only is she aligned with them at this point, again, Hunter and Tess are still a duo. Therefore, they're the bigger issue, and I think she would just get all of them by saying, hey, y'all just want to vote Hunter, maybe like whispering to them or something during the votes. Whoever Hunter and Tess vote, I think they would just vote for Allie. Maybe not Tess, but Hunter 1000% would. Therefore, Hunter and Yule are gone due to majority of the 4-2 and the 4-3. We move on to episode 4. So remember Rhea found her team swap advantage. She would not use it here because she doesn't need to. First off, she's in the majority alliance. She's probably at the top of her team at the moment. So why would she need to use it? And she's, again, since it expires their next round, because remember, you have to use it before the next challenge is what the team swap advantage officially said. It would never be used, and therefore there is no swap in this universe. And since Kai is still here, Maggie is happy. Anyway, secret-wise, remember, Aiden actually lost for his team in Canada because he kept his secret to himself, and I think the same would happen here, since we really don't know how Connor Kai would perform in this challenge. I'm just gonna assume they do decent. That's it. Because I don't think we really know enough to say they wouldn't do good. Anyway, that's to me. Anyway, we all know that James is done on Orange since Orange loses here and there's no swap to save him. Everyone votes for him. Aiden still does too, and therefore James and Aiden never make up, and wow, the official winner is already out. Darn! Anyway, episode 5. Rhea and Connor hang out in the morning. Tess is a loner again without Hunter, and I think Allie and Kai start to talk a bit, with Kai giving Allie the advice to talk to someone when she needs it or something. Now, I know some of these events never happen, but I'm having to craft new morning events for what I think would happen in sequential, since a lot of the characters who were really major in the story are just gone now. So it has to be changed a bit. Anyway, since Kai would tell, Allie some advice about she needs to talk to someone, Tess, this is not an excuse, so Tess cannot just be in the background. I would never do such a thing. Anyway, you can so challenge-wise, you can argue Connor and Kai would not do the dares in this challenge, but we never got to see, and same with Maggie, we never got to see if they would actually care. Maybe the only one I would think that might refuse a few is Maggie, but even then I feel like that's pushing it a bit. So I'll go with the safer option here by saying Lake did not win it for the team and lost it for the team in the official episode of episode 5. So I'm just going to assume it's the same here, and everyone regretfully takes out Aiden. Now, you can argue that Lake might vote with Aiden and vote Maggie instead, but even then I feel like that's really pushing the boundaries. I think that it might happen for drama purposes, but wise, I don't know. I'm just gonna, again, go with the safer option here instead of taking that. Go with the safer option that the 3 girls just vote on Aiden, even though regretfully, because, first I was building a friendship with Aiden. I don't know, Rosa or Maggie really barely interacted, so I don't think they would care, but it would be sad for Lake. And we're on episode 6, which means we have the merch! Alrighty, so non-elimination. Usually I skip these, but this is important to the storyline real quick, so I'm just gonna speed through this. First off, the duos would be Allie and Tess, like in the canon. Now the rest... Oh, Rhea and Rosa too. My brain. And then Maggie and Kai would be the other duo. And then Lake and Connor. Alrighty. So Allie and Tess, thanks to the advice with Kai, Allie just tries to talk with Tess a bit, and they form a friendship in a sense, and basically have, like, no one knows why I came here, Tess just opening up to Allie a bit. Anyway, in Rhea and Rosa, since in canon they already interacted here, they didn't, they would start to form a friendship, and now Rosa, Maggie, Lake, Rhea, and Connor are now, well, have an alliance at this point, I feel like. They would, or it would begin to form due to the friendship that Rhea and Rosa are. Anyway, Maggie and Kai, they become closer. See, I have to quickly just say this. I think by episode 6, they're canon, like they're officially together. Since they haven't had that many chances to interact because episode 4, Kai and Maggie went off into the forest. So they had every living second to interact here. Here, they don't because they're on separate teams, so I think it would be a bit slower paced in this universe, therefore I don't think they're canon yet, but they're developing their romance or whatever. Anyway, Connor and Lake. Connor gives advice to Lake. He's becoming the new Miriam. Take with that what you will. And Lake gets taken away, and the same as canon, as it's a and I think since Rhea and Rosa got second officially, I think they'd win this because I have no reason to suspect. I don't think Connor could win this on his own. Allie and Tess didn't win it over Rhea and Rosa, so they wouldn't. And Maggie and Kai, they're wild cards. They could win it. Maybe because both of them are experienced with the forest, more so Kai. So maybe they could win it too. But even then, I think both of the teams are going to throw a party. So it really doesn't matter because it's a non. Anyway, episode 7. So Rhea furthers friendship with Rosa. Connor and Kai interact a bit. Allie and Tess friendship. Lake and Maggie friendship. Also, they get back Rhea's perfume. And Connor's really happy. Or all of that. Anyway, the teams in this challenge. Remember, episode 7 had teams. So Allie, Tess, Rosa, Lake, Rhea, Maggie, and Connor. I kept the people who were on the same team originally in canon on the same team and just added the others randomly to the other. Anyway, so, like in canon, Allie, Tess, Rosa, and Kai would lose because that team lost originally because Tess was the last one standing and the dodgeballs didn't work. That's what that happened, so I'm just going to bring it over into the what if real quick. And then the two people who are going to fight, I think it's to be Connor versus Rhea and Lake versus Maggie, because this brings drama. Entertainment. Anyway, so I think Rhea would actually beat Connor because I think she would be like, alright, I'm sorry, Connor, and realize that being strategic and playing dirty can help her in the game. See where this is heading towards. And then Lake and Maggie, I think Lake would be able to defeat Maggie in the battle, because I don't think Maggie would really want to hit Lake due to the fact that they're friends, but Lake is willing to be more competitive, so she would do it, like, push it and do that, so I think it would be fine. Anyway, so the final battle would be Rhea versus Lake. And since Lake was robbed in original, we're just gonna say it happens here, too, because clearly, Lake getting a win in an immunity challenge is too far for anyone. But jokes aside, Rhea would probably sabotage Lake on accident, and that could maybe showing her again strategic can win. Anyway, so the 5 talk, and now they're going to form an alliance, I feel like, because I think Rosa would find Rhea and Connor just hanging out and be like, alright, we want to form an alliance, and now the OP alliance has started. Now, who would they vote? First off, Maggie and Kai. There's no way Maggie would ever let anyone vote Kai, so I don't think Kai would be going. It's either Allie or Tess. I think they would choose to vote Tess because Connor and Rhea and Kai were originally allied, in quotes, with Allie, and they would think of that, for that reason, to keep her in. Plus, Tess they barely interacted with. It's just easier for that. I think Tess would actually hear this, but appreciating what's happened the past few days with Allie, thanks to Allie, she decides to not interrupt. And then they just hang out the rest of the day. Allie and Tess having fun playing some games. Therefore, I think Tess is voted out by these 5. Now, who would these 3 vote? I really don't know. Like, I think Kai would eventually find his way to join these 6. Now, 5 numbers right now. But it doesn't really matter because Tess is out anyway. So, episode 8 now. Allie going on to just go on for Tess alone. Rhea, Rosa, Lake, and Maggie friendship just building up, and more Kai and Connor interactions and stuff like that. Anyway, challenge. I think Kai and Maggie would, quote-unquote, die first because they are going to watch the movie together. I feel like that's very realistic for them to watch the movie instead of James and Aiden because it's Maggie and Kai. So Allie just in the shower, and then they find her, and Connor goes to actually try and stop it and Rhea would be like, don't do anything impulsive, Connor, please. And then he goes and does something impulsive. And anyways, Rhea, Rosa, and Lake, the rest of what happened in canon carries over to here. I don't see any of that changing. Anyways, Carol returns. She still returns. Because even if she can't get revenge on James and Aiden because they're already eliminated, both of them, it's $1 million. She's gonna accept the chance to come back, even if she can't get revenge. Plus, it's easier for her. Anyways, Carol, remember, gets to give 2 people immunity. She's 1000% giving Allie immunity. Let's be real. She's the outsider to this. And I'm guessing she'd also choose Connor to give immunity to. Because I feel like if they can't vote for Allie, they'd vote for Connor. Therefore, I think the mentality would go right there. Because again, Maggie's crushing on Kai. So they wouldn't want to vote out Kai for that reason. And Rhea, I don't know about Connor. We're not going to discuss Connor yet. But anyways, elimination-wise, Rhea would realize that the 3 girls, Rosa, Maggie, and Lake, are way too powerful of a trio to keep inside the game. Due to and also the doubts from earlier, and also knowing strategic can help her out. So I think Rhea would go over to Allie and be like, hey, want to vote Lake with me? And Allie would accept 1000%. Like, she's gonna be out soon anyway. Why not just vote out Lake? Again, because she won the previous 2 immunities, I feel like that would also back up this. Because, like in canon, she still almost wins the 2 immunities. Rhea would also go over to Connor and be like, we need to vote Lake because the 3 girls are way too powerful of a trio. Connor would be like, wait, what? And be a lot more iffy on it, but he would eventually agree because it's Rhea. And then I think Rhea would also go over to Carol and be like, want to vote Lake? And Carol would completely agree, I think. Which means there's 4 votes on to Lake. Now, I think Maggie, Lake, and Kai would vote for Rhea because I feel like Kai would be able to figure out what Rhea's doing because Rhea might go over to Kai or something like that, thinking that he would betray them for her, but no, that would not happen. And Kai would tell them Lake, and Maggie would fully believe Kai and just vote for Rhea, but Rosa, due to the aforementioned friendship, would not, and therefore vote randomly, and would vote for Kai, because even if she does not want to vote for Kai that much, she really doesn't have any option due to the fact that Allie and Connor are both immune. So, now we're going to quickly discuss the idol. Now, I know the idol was supposed to be revealed this episode and everything, however, Rosa would never get the idol. Remember, the only reason Rosa got the idol is because she swapped teams. In this universe, the team swap never happens, which means I can't really decide who gets the idol. I can't be like, oh, yep, Lake is going to mosey on right over there and get that idol. I can't be like that. I can't say that because you don't really know. It's too much probability. So you can theorize who would get the idol in this universe. However, since it's easier for me to do it this way and not have to be like very statistical just to figure out who. So for simplicity, we're just gonna say no one ever finds it. I wish I could say who, but I don't really know since Rosa can't find it. Anyways, back to the elimination, which means Lake is sadly gone. Episode 9. Maggie and Kai are just hanging out. Rosa and Rhea have the same interaction as Canon. Carol is just mad at life, and then Allie is just enjoying it, and there's Connor just existing there. Anyway, challenge-wise, Rosa will win the first part. As in canon, I don't see any reason to think that Kai, Connor could build, or Maggie could make better sleds or snowboards like Allie made than the others. So, the duos for this challenge, because remember they get to select their duos, Maggie and Kai, because I think Maggie and Kai would just go and select each other. And then I think Rhea would be going over to Connor trying to become a duo. However, Carol interrupts and asks if she can go with her, and she just agrees automatically because she doesn't want to be rude or anything. And then Allie and Connor are also a duo here. And then Rosa is going solo and wins the next part. Maggie and Kai are Maggie and Kai. Carol and Rhea have that same conversation partially as in canon, making her lose trust more so with Maggie and Rosa. And Connor and Allie, they're just talking. I really don't know. About what? Maybe Connor's apologizing again for breaking the console, saying how much he's learned thanks to Rhea and everything. Maybe all that. Anyways, so Rosa, I think, would choose Maggie for the last part, which would further Rhea's distress because Rosa is closer with Maggie than she is Rhea, which would also lead to the rest of the duos being Rhea and Carol again, and then Connor and Allie, and Kai is with Oliver. Since Aiden is not here to pull the spider sabotage, as I'll call it, since he isn't here to do that, I think Carol and Rhea actually win. Because Rosa and Maggie, I think, would still crash, like in canon. Well, I know it was originally Rosa, but you get my point. I think they would still crash. Allie gets hit by a tree, and I don't think Connor would be able to drive a sled better than Carol can, as shown in canon. She was doing really well, so I think she would do really well here. And also, I feel like she would really try to win so she can gain Rhea's trust, so she can stay longer in the game. So she's trying to gain Rhea's trust by winning immunity. So Carol and Rhea are both immune this go round. Anyway, I think Rhea would begin to plan to eliminate Maggie thanks to what Carol said earlier and all the distrust in her mind, and also so she can just get Rosa all to herself. So I think she would be like, hey, Carol, want to vote for Maggie? And she would immediately agree, and then Rhea would go over to Allie and be like, hey, you want to vote for Maggie? And Allie would also agree to that, I feel like. Now, I feel like she would also go to Connor and say, we need to vote for Maggie right now. It's another duo, Rosa and Maggie. We don't need that here. But he doesn't want to vote for Maggie, I feel like. He would be against voting for her fully. But I feel like he would also be against voting for Allie due to the conversation he had earlier.
The final footage I had for this had my microphone not working. Due to the already delayed nature of this video, I will use text-to-speech to explain the last 2 episodes. I apologize for the inconvenience. Episode 10-wise, in Episode 10, we have Rhea, Connor, Kai, Rosa all planning to target Carol. However, due to the previous bonds, Rhea doesn't want to do so. Rhea also does still frame Rosa, due to the doubts she now has from Carol and also her believing it's the main option to get farther. In-game, this is confronted in the end with Rhea asking for more darts. Connor gets mad at Rosa since he originally felt bad for voting her, but thinking she stole all those things made him flip out a bit. Rhea feels more guilty due to this. The votes line up to be 3 on Rosa, Connor, Rhea, Carol, and 2 on Connor, Kai, and Rosa. Carol won immunity. Kai voted with Rosa, since he could understand that she didn't steal due to the fact he can read auras and knew she wasn't lying. The same confrontation scene happens between Rhea and Rosa, and the next episode happens, Episode 11. Episode 11-wise, I think Rhea's true nature would be exposed by Kai, with Connor saying she would never, but Rhea's nervousness comes through. Once Connor realizes what Rhea's become, I think he'd quit. He doesn't need the money, he only stayed in game to help Rhea to continue the fun experience. But with how Rhea had become now, with previous episodes and now this, why stay in game? A huge confrontation happens between Rhea and Connor, causing a quit before the challenge even happens. You could argue Crystal wouldn't allow this quitting, but Connor could also pay to be allowed to quit if he really wanted to, but also I feel letting him quit would offer a lot more drama to the finale and also would make Rhea more unsteady for the finale. The finalists would be Kai, Rhea, and Carol. The rest of the video has the voiceover. I apologize again for the microphone's glitch. Please enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you.
Again, was an interesting what if. I don't prefer it to the main canon. I just, not my cup of tea, because a lot of the characters I like go out a bit earlier, and it's just not my personal favorite. But what are your thoughts on this what if? I would love to hear it in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope to see you again on the channel. Bye, everybody!